So it's finally here, Michael Alberto's video on Nicholas Diorio, and I gotta say the video is disappointing. It is hot garbage, alright? A lot of the points that they used in this video is either stuff that is exaggerated based off lies, horrible conclusions, and a lot of the Zaptai stuff is just stuff that Technicals has already said. He has already stated this stuff, so it's just a repeat of what was said before. It doesn't really add anything new to the conversation at all. Like, the only thing I agree with maybe Michael saying is that, Nick should make a new video, but this is like an opinion shared with everyone in the community that Nick should make, a redo of the Zaptai situation with all the clear, information that's already been corrected. Because really, Nick's like cleared it a bunch of times on streams, comment sections, and even, the tweet long that he posted. So I do think a redo is in order. However, that's pretty much it where I can say that I agree with Michael's video, because the rest of the video, it's laughably full of lies. It is so easy to point out each one. But first, let's start with Zaptai. So he goes on the whole thing about the age thing, which again, Nick has already clarified, so I'm not going over that. However, I want to point out the fact that he tries to make the argument that Nick is not being charitable to Mini-Lad, and only to Zaptai because he likes Zaptai and not Mini-Lad, when both cases have a 4-year age gap, when, again, that's not the main issue. So Technicals wrote this section, or at least had a major influence on it, because this is the same talking point that was in his video calling out the commentary community, and let me just do a little bit of a side comparison, and I'll show you also what happened in the Unseen video, and trust me, you might want to see this.
Mini-Lad's case is 2117, which is a huge yikes moment.
What did this dude do?
He's a pedophile.
Children. Like an actual one?
Yes.
Or like, okay.
But Zaptai's, which is 2016, the same exact number of years apart, is fine because the age of consent.
Moving on, Technical's second example for Nick was showcasing Nick's reaction to Mini-Lad, who was 21 when he sexted with two 17-year-old girls, one of whom he had known since she was 13, with the age gap being 4 years, just like in the Zaptai case. Text shows a clip of Nick talking negatively about Mini-Lad, as well as a tweet Nick made commenting on the situation saying, "Yikes." However, I think it would be disingenuous not to bring up Nick's reply to that tweet, which Technicals did not show, in which he said, "It's not even the gap that makes me cringe to the point it hurts, it's the fact that they met when she was fucking 13, which seemingly responds to Tech's point more than a full year before he even made it.
While Diorio defended Zaptai for 1620, for whatever reason he has an issue when Mini-Lad is accused of doing the same thing, calling it a yikes moment. I can already hear Diorio's voice screaming in the distance. Well, he knew her since she was 13. However, a 4-year age gap always remains a 4-year age gap, and the misconduct being alleged didn't start till she was 16 or 17. And also, you're the guy defending Zaptai in a 4-year age gap.
What did this dude do?
He's a pedophile.
Children. Like an actual one?
Yes.
Or like, okay.
I'm not defending either of these guys. I'm saying by your own logic, in your position of being pro 4-year age gap, you should be defending this guy too. However, you don't.
There you go. Not only did these two fuckers blatantly lie, but they also try to hide that little reply. Look how terrible this thing is cropped. That right there destroys the whole Zaptai argument in and of itself, even the video. But, oh, it gets even better though. So another point that Michael tries to bring up is the fact that there was nudes being sent in the whole Zaptai situation, which there wasn't, alright? It has been stated so many times that there were no nudes sent, because if that did happen, Nick would be singing a whole different tune, and that would definitely make him a pedophile if nudes were sent. But guess what though? They never were. Zaptai has denied this numerous times, but he's admitted to the other stuff, so it's consistent. Not to mention, also, Zaptai has said anyone who's claiming that they have seen screenshots of his nudes or, at him admitting is a complete liar. And they are. Because again, Michael never once shows an ounce of proof of Zaptai admitting, or like even, a DM between both Heather and Zaptai saying that nudes were exchanged. Again, lying as always, Michael. So obviously, Michael talks about the Courtney situation. He brings it up, and I could go into detail why he's wrong and what's wrong with that situation, but I think I'm gonna just do you all a favor and read this one DM between him and Turkey Tom. "And you called me saying you were gonna dox someone for sending a mean Instagram message. You didn't do it. You were mad. I didn't do it." The person did not just send me a mean message. I was mad. They hurt my internet presence by getting me suspended, and I never said I was going to. I said I wanted to, but wouldn't, and I never would. You did. I could get Bernie to dox this guy in an hour. I said I could. I did not do that. And I said I could fuck with Courtney and I didn't. The only people I expressed that anger to were in private. After that person deliberately fucked with me, no, this is not even the same. You would have if I didn't stop you. You admitted in the call you don't know if you would have never gone through with it. You have never even denied that intent. I want everyone to remember that Michael showed this DM to Lyrics and Aiden to prove that Turkey Tom is a doxer, but as you can tell, it clearly worked in his favor. So Michael tries to make the argument that, you know, Nick wasn't charitable with him in this situation, you know, that he was very charitable to Zaptai, someone who committed a far worse act, but, you know, Michael just saying stuff like that, you know, jokes. He wasn't charitable when, really, I mean, let's be honest here, Nick never made a whole segment, you know, a whole video or live stream covering this. He just clowned on him. He just laughed at him because of how pathetic he sounded. I mean, that's just it, really. That's really what it was. This wasn't a serious situation. It only became serious and, you know, it drawn more attention to it when Michael started spurking about it. Again, this is Michael's own doing to bringing a situation that ultimately should have been a nothing burger. Of course, he also brings up the doxing situation, which again has already been proven that it's not doxing, alright? It became a whole thing when people like Spawn Down, Uppercat had leaked their DMs with Michael. I mean, Michael should have known better than to start DMing them and crying about it. Especially, you know, when they've showed they themselves in the DMs that it's not doxing because the girl is in his replies at the time 24/7 and it's a public profile pic. So I don't know why Michael keeps trying to say that it was Nick, even though there's no evidence that Nick told him to DM Michael and to spurg out. Like, there's no evidence of that, and the only evidence that Michael uses to prove that Nick is a doxer that he retweeted it. Yes, a retweet until after the fact, until the very next day, after everything was said and done. And that's really the best way to sum up these two allegations he brings up towards, actually no, these two false statements against Nick, because it's the same stuff as before, and it's the same, you know, arguments that I made in my first video against it. There's really, like I said, there's nothing new in this video. Michael doesn't really do a good job at providing evidence that, you know, Nick does something. Why? Because there is no evidence. Now, I find it pretty ironic that Michael Alberto talks about, you know, bad faith arguments and, you know, uncharitability when he does the exact same thing to Nick. He brings up Nick's little petty feud that he had with Keem, if you don't remember. Basically, Brantley supposedly said the N-word on a live stream, or it sounded like she did. Keem sort of made fun of her for it, and Michael takes that and fucking runs with it, saying that Nick is trying to cancel people over saying the N-word, when in reality, no. He was just laughing at Brantley. Even Boblax jumped in on the joke, which, again, Michael left out. If you've seen the N-word news video that Boblax made about Brantley, then you know exactly that this isn't like a serious situation. They're just clowning on Keem, and Keem, I should say, clowned back. Actually, speaking of Keemstar, so Michael Alberto brings up Nick's video that he made on Keem, where I guess he goes over a situation where Keem worked with a doctor named Zoom, and they went up against a guy named Just Destiny. I don't know that much familiar about the whole situation. That whole point is convoluted as hell. I had to watch the video at least 3 times to understand that point. But that's, I guess, the gist of it, that Nick is a hypocrite for calling Keem out for working with him. I don't know, but look, if anyone knows anything about this fucking topic, whether Michael Alberto's right or not, let me know in the comment section below, or tweet at me. I know Part Awful wrote this segment, so I don't fucking know. I'm not gonna comment on this one. But in terms of what moving forward, I mean, for me, there's no reason for me to keep making Michael Alberto videos unless, you know, this loser does one, you know, obnoxious or crazy thing that I have to talk about. But I mean, this goes for anyone. I mean, after everyone's done covering this video, I mean, there's really nothing left. I think the only person left to really cover it is, well, Augie himself. I doubt Turkey Tom's gonna even talk about it unless someone calls in and asks him about it, but Augie's, I think, I mean, at this point, he has to say something because this involved people in his community. People in his community were involved along with Nick, so they have to say something at least, but who knows, maybe when Augie talks about it, Michael then goes after Augie, because that's the one person he's been trying to avoid. So, who fucking knows? Maybe we'll get Augie versus Michael Alberto this year. I mean, it's just kind of funny how Michael burned every bridge he had in this community and tried to bank everything on this one video, and it just completely backfired because the people he surrounds himself with now, they're all really either friends with him because they don't like the commentary community, or they're trying to get at Nick or anyone really. And it's just like uneasy alliance that could be easily broken. I mean, what he has like technicals, some of the people like from Salvo, you know, people like that. I mean, he's also got Austin No Spine in his corner, but I mean, oh man, I'll just play this little clip right here.
Here's the thing. Austin publicly is like when you look at his messages and his tweets and all that, he seems to be super like hard on the Alberto defense, but then you actually talk to him in calls and it's like the confidence level he actually has for this shit.
He gets our arguments, and he's like agrees with most of them.
The only reason he goes as hard as he does is because he's friends with Alberto. Like he is not like he knows Alberto.
He thinks that he doesn't think the video is gonna do anything.
He even conceded in like the Prince Alberto cult that like Michael's a bad debater, which the reason why he's a bad debater is because all of his points have absolutely no substance at all. Like he's arguing that like the commentary community is lying about me, and then you ask him what the lies are, and it's just nothing.
What a great guy. Oh, and Michael said he's also going to be taking a break recently in a live stream with technicals. So, yeah, complete total Michael L. I'm Skeletal QZ. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to check out my other videos. Link will be in the description below for all my social medias. Dislike the video if you dislike it. Like the video if you enjoyed it. And with that being said, I am out.